Okay, welcome everybody. Good evening. It's our pleasure that you are here today attending with us this webinar. This is actually the first webinar in our series at Legacy Coaching Institute, Legacy Webinar Series. We are aiming to create a series of webinars to inform coaches and to elevate their mastery for the profession and for the practice. So we love to start with this amazing topic regarding measuring the impact and ROI of coaching, because we found that this is a very big challenge for each coach in organizations or even with individuals, how to prove that coaching works, how to prove that coaching is the right solution for any challenge that you might face. This is Ahmed Majdi on behalf of Legacy Coaching Institute. I welcome all of you. It's my pleasure to introduce my friend and colleague and my mentor actually in the ROI of coaching, Nader. I'm really excited to learn from him this techniques and process of measuring the ROI of coaching. And I wish you a great and amazing webinar tonight. Welcome, Nader.
Thanks, Ahmed. Welcome, everyone. I'm very pleased to be here with you and talk about this very important subject for coaches professional, which is measuring the impact and the ROI of coaching. In our webinar today, we're gonna first speak about the main reason why we as a coach, we have to start measuring the ROI. And then we're gonna go through 10 steps, 10 easy steps that will lead us to measure the return on investment in coaching. So, are you ready, coach? Let's start first with 4 reasons why it's very important to measure the ROI of coaching. And the reason are, first reason is the number of coaches. As you can see, the number is increasing all over the world. And between 2011 to 2016, according to the ICF Global Coaching Study, the number has increased 35%. So everywhere you see coaches, and many of these coaches, are trainers and they are pretending to be a coach. So the level of, competition is very high in coaching industry. It's one of the fastest growing industry, and coaches need to stand out, to be different, stand out from the competition and have value and have the tools that will help them to prove the impact and the ROI of coaching. The other topic also is the trend in coaching. So as you can see, based on the ICF Global Coaching Study in 2016, the 2 first future opportunity in coaching are related to the awareness and the benefit of coaching, also about the ROI and the ROE of coaching. They represent together 65% of the future opportunity in coaching. So if you want to look in the future in coaching, start to think, considering measuring the impact and the ROI of coaching. The reason number 2 is that the sponsors, the managers, and also CFO and person responsible for the coaching, they want to see the monetary value. They want to see what is the impact of the coaching investment, because we are spending a lot of money on coaching and we're going to see what is the return. So the expectation of CEO, this is a study conducted by the ROI Institute, and you can see the 2 desired measure for the CEO are the business impact, 96% of them, and the ROI, 74%. So these are the 2 most desired measure for the CEO and for the top executive. However, what they are seeing actually is less than that. So they are seeing just 8% are seeing business impact, and 4% are seeing actually an ROI in their learning and development, including the coaching and the training program. So this is the front page of the Sunday Telegraph, last 3rd of June in 2018. And as you can see, Scotland Yard is wasting £10 million on leadership program. So this is a leadership training program, including coaching. So for 10,000 police supervisors in London, they went through a development program, including 5 coaching sessions during a period of 6 months. And this program was a huge investment for Scotland Yard. So Unfortunately, the implementation of this program came at the time when the crime rate is high in London, and also the percentage of solved crime is lower than 5%. So these are the two measures that should be and could be connected to the coaching program, to learning program, but unfortunately, for some reason, it was not connected. So the sponsor for coaching and for learning and development program, they want to see what is the actual value of the coaching. And also, the third challenge is the what we call the scrap learning. So this is the waste in terms of learning and coaching. According to ATD, State of Industry Report, the average expenditure per training is $1,292 per person, and the total average of training hours per year is 34 hours. So if we multiply this amount by 45%, it represents a study conducted by CB in 2014. This is the scrap learning. This is the learning that is not applied in the workplace. And there is a big gap between what people and what participants learn and what they do. This gap is considered to be a waste in terms of knowledge and of learning. So if we multiply 1,292 by 45, we have $481. This is waste in terms of money. So imagine we have an organization where we do coaching for 100 executives or for 100 of their team members. So we multiply this amount by 100, so we have a lot of money that is wasted for the coaching program because the coaching is not aligned to the business need. In terms of hours, we can multiply 34 hours by 45%. We have 15 hours. This is considered to be a waste also in terms of learning. Also, the other challenges that in terms of learning and development, the expenditure in coaching is considered to be cost. So there are two different perceptions. The first perception is that coaching is a cost, and when it's cost, the cost should be controlled, should be reduced, or should be eliminated. The second perception is that coaching is an investment. And once it's considered an investment, investment is maintained, investment enhanced, and also investment should be protected. And our role as a coaching professional is to protect those investments. So the objective is, that the learning and development and also the sponsor of the coaching program, they consider coaching as a necessity, not an option, not a luxury. So we need to win a seat at the table. So those are the four main reasons why we as a coach, we need to start measuring the impact and the ROI of coaching today. Now we're gonna go through 10 steps for measuring the ROI of coaching. And the first step is developing the coaching objective. This is the step number one for evaluating the ROI and the impact of the coaching program. And to develop the objective, the first thing is that we need to identify the payoff need. So all of us, we know the bestseller book of Simon Sink, Start With Why, and also we have other book, The 7 Habits for Highly Effective People. And all of those books, they emphasize on the importance of setting objectives. Start with end in mind, so we know where we are going and what we want to achieve. And usually the payoff need that we have three options. The first option is that coaching is an opportunity. And this is very common. Many organizations, for example, they go through coaching program to develop leadership, or they go for coaching program, for example, to have a better place for work, or to increase sales, or to improve customer satisfaction. So in this case, coaching, the need of coaching, this is an opportunity that we need to take advantage. The second option, that coaching is for solving a problem. We have, let's say, a high turnover of staff. or we have low, let's say, customer satisfaction, or we have a conflict in the team, so we go for coaching. So in this case, the coaching program is for solving, solving, a clear problem in the organization. And the third option is that we anticipate, problems, so we need to avoid the problem. So these are the three options why we conduct the coaching program. So whether it's an opportunity to take advantage, so we can, make money, or this is a problem that we need, to solve. So it will help to, to save cost, and also it's a problem to avoid, so we need to avoid cost. So sometimes the payoff need is clear, it's obvious. Like, for example, we have an absenteeism rate which is 15% compared to the benchmark 10%. So this is a clear problem. Sometimes the payoff need is not clear. Like, for example, we have a low morale in the team, or we have many conflicts, or we have low leadership skills, or something like that. So, but in any case, this payoff need are opportunity, are, could be to solve problem or to avoid, potential problem. So that's the step number one, is to identify the payoff needs. Step number two is to identify the business need in the organization. So there are two types of business need. The first type is we call the hard data, which is like, the hard pillow. And also we have the soft data. And in each one, there are four common measures. For example, for the hard data, the four common measures are the output increase, the quality improvement, the cost saving, or the time saving. Example of the output increase, for example, the profit or sales, or it could be, for example, for a university to have more graduate students. For example, for a hospital, the number of recovery of patient. So in each industry, okay, this is the increase, this is the performance indicator that measure the performance of the, the organization or of the unit. Also the quality improvement. So this is the second measure, okay, for the, let's say, hard data, and the cost saving and the time saving. These are the four most used measure, okay, and they are available in most of the organization. This also, it applies for the life coaching, because the reason for a person to go for, to hire or to go with a coach, life coach, is to have a better life. Also sometimes is to, to monitor or to control the expenses, or to save time, because, the most challenge that everyone faces in the world, okay, is about time. Because I would like, for example, to have a better education. So I don't have time for a master degree or for a PhD. Some people, they would like to, for example, to improve their life, to go for a diet or to do sport activity. So this will improve the well-being of the person or the reputation of the organization. So all these could be a soft data measure. Okay, so we have, I think some people are writing in the chat, so I need to, yes. Okay, people are asking about the Q&A. Yes, at the end of the session, we'll have, a Q&A part. All right. So these are the two types of need, the payoff need and the business need. The next step now is to identify the performance need, and then the learning need, and at the end, the preference need. So the payoff need, this is the big problem, or this is the opportunity, and then this is the actual measure that we'd like to change. The performance need is this is in terms of behavior. So this is expected performance. And then we have the learning need. So what people should know so they can change their performance. And after that, we have the preference need, how the coaching program will be structured. Okay, how many sessions, okay, of the coaching program, what are the topics in the coaching program that will be covered. So all these 5 types of needs that will help us to identify the need of coaching program. Once these needs are identified, the next step is to identify objectives. So we have here 5 levels of objective. We have the reaction objective, we have the learn, and also we have the ROI objective. And on the other hand, we have the evaluation. So we're going to evaluate the level of evaluation of coaching, which is the reaction, the learning, the application, impact, and return on investment. So we're going to see here an example they are facing a problem and not more than 5%, but actually they are having 9%. So this is the business need. This is the indicator in measurement that we identified for the business. And then the performance need is that the discussion between the team member and the supervisors are not occurring when there is an unplanned, absence. So this is a problem in the supervisory skills and the coaching skills of the supervisors, because when when we have an unplanned absence, okay, there is no discussion between the supervisors and the team member. So the learning need is there is a deficiency in the coaching skills of supervisors. So the coaching skills must be practical and necessary. Once we identify the need, the next step now is to set a SMART objective. For the reaction objective, so participant, okay, should let's say rate the coaching experience 4 out of 5. So in terms of relevance of the coaching program, and also they perceive it as practical. The second objective, which is the learning objective. Learning objective, so that participant will be able to demonstrate the use of coaching skills. And how can we measure this? We can measure it through 2 items. First, the coach or the facilitator assessment, and second one, during the program. So this is the measurement technique for measuring the learning level. How you measure the learning, what the participant have learned from engagement. The third, let's say, objective is the application objective. And in this case, this discussion and the application we do also a questionnaire for the supervisor of participants. For the impact of the objective is to reduce absenteeism to 5% a month after the course or after the program. So the impact is to monitor the absenteeism in the the performance record of the organization after 6 months. And the ROI is to have 25% ROI, and we measure it through the BCR, called the benefit cost ratio, and also the ROI percentage. So this is called the V model, which is the business alignment model that help to align the coaching program to the actual need of the organization, and also we can align to the actual need of the individual. So we have here an exercise together there are here 10 objectives. And what I want you to do, to tell me the first objective, is it a reaction objective that's called level 1? Or is it a learning objective called level 2? Or is it an application objective called level 3? Or is it impact objective level 4? Or is it an ROI objective level 5? So, are you ready, coach? You can write in the chat box the answer for the first objective. The first objective is decreasing, the customer complaint by 20%. All right, so first answer from Abdurrahman. Okay, unfortunately, it's not level 5, it's level 4. Okay, because this is the business measure. The customer complaint is the business measure. This is, hard data. And when we are in business measure, we are level 4. So let's see the question number 2. Use disciplinary discussion skills in 90% of discussion where work habits are unsatisfactory. Which level this one? Okay, we're gonna see the participant list. All right, so guys, okay, Abdurrahman said level 2. Shitwi, level 3. All right. More answers. Where are your coaches? Okay. So we have here 2 winners, Abdurrahman and Chitwi. It's level 3. All right. Question number 3. Be able to describe the 4 steps of the coaching process. Which level is this objective? Okay, Abdurrahman said level 2. Muhammad said level 1. All right, one more answer. Okay, Khulud, excellent. So Khulud and Abdurrahman, it's right, it's level 2. Because here, when we say describe or identify or understand, so we are in learning phase, we are level 2. Okay, 4th question is to rate the coach 4 out of 5. Is to give a rating for the coach or rating for the relevance of the coaching program. So when we say a rating, is it a learning? Is it reaction? Is it impact, business? Is it an application? All right. Bravo, Abdurrahman. Yes, it's level 1. So we are in the reaction level. This is a reaction because I'm happy with the coach. I can give a rating 4 out of 5. So this is about my perception. All right, question number 5. To achieve a 20% ROI 1 year after the coaching program. All right, we have Khulud, Muhammad, Abdurrahman. Yes, it's level 5. Excellent. To perceive the coaching content to be relevant to the job. And this is the perception. Well, perception. It's not learning. To perceive. All right. Okay. Excellent, Abdurrahman. So this is level 1 objective. To increase, okay, the sales on XPS 750 by 25% in 3 months. To increase sales or to reduce, measure. Khulud said level 4. Hamad, level 4. It's level 4. Excellent. Excellent, Abdurrahman. Okay. 8. To conduct a proper investigation using the 7 steps process in 95% of complaint situation. To conduct proper investigation using the 7-step process in 95% of complaint situation. So this is to conduct, like to use, to apply, to do, to perform, to submit, to follow. These verbs are about learning or are about action, application. To conduct, to do, to apply. Excellent, excellent. It's level 3. All right. Question number 9. To score an average of 75% or better on knowledge assessment. So we have here an assessment. We have a test. We have a quiz. We do an assessment for the coachee. And we'd like to have a score 75% or better. Excellent. Excellent, Abdurrahman. It's level 2. The last question, to use all the 10 negotiation skills with at least 50% of negotiation situation. Well, we at this level, okay, we didn't reach the ROI. We don't have an idea about the value, the impact, or the money, or the cost. So we are still in level of using, is to use skills. Okay, I want, for example, the coachee to use the action plan or to use, a technique or use a method, or, when we use, there is no consequence. So it's an application. So we are still in the phase of application. So in order to understand the difference between all these objectives, okay, the first one, which is reaction, is about the perception, about the rating, it's about satisfaction. In level 2, we say, for example, that the coachee will learn, they will know, they will understand, they will, for example, describe, be identified. So all this is about knowledge, it's about learning, what they know, what they learn. And in level 3, it's about using, it's about conducting, it's about doing something. Okay, it's about an action, to submit, to do, to apply. And in level 4 is about, the consequence of this application, the business measure, change in business, less time, saving cost, increasing, sales, or increasing opportunity, or better quality. So this is the consequence of, the application. And the last one, the ROI, is when you see, monetary value, you see benefit, monetary benefit, compared to the cost. So now we are in the ROI level 5 level. All right. Okay. So let's move to the second steps of the process. We have seen the first step is developing objective. Now we're going to see the second step, which is the planning the coaching evaluation. So the ROI and the impact of coaching is not measured at the end of the coaching engagement, but it should be considered from the beginning, at the early stage of the coaching program. We need to plan for the evaluation from the beginning. So there are two documents very important for the coaching evaluation. The first one, it's called the data collection plan. The second one, it's called the ROI analysis plan. So for the data collection plan, for each of the 5 levels, whether it's reaction, learning, application, business impact, and the ROI, we need to identify the measures. We need to identify the data collection instrument. Okay, what tools, what are the techniques for collecting this data? How we are going, am I going to use a questionnaire or interviews or focus group or a demonstration, simulation, test, action plan? So we're gonna identify which tools we are going to use for each of the level, measurement level. Then we identify the data source. Okay, the data source means who are going to provide us these answers. Are the coachee themselves, or the manager of the coachee, or other department or organization? Then the timing, when we are going to conduct the evaluation for level 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Usually for level 1 and 2, we can do it at the end of the coaching engagement. For example, you have a coaching session, then you ask the coachee to evaluate the session, how they feel, how they can rate the coach, for example, their perception, if they perceive, is it relevant, is it applicable, their motivation, all this perception criteria to measure the reaction of the coachee. This is this measurement is usually at the end of the coaching engagement. For the level 2, the learning, also at the end of the coaching engagement, we can measure the learning, or sometimes within the coach can assess the knowledge of the coachee during the coaching session. And for the level 3, the application, it cannot be measured at the end of the coaching session. It should be measured after, let's say, 3 weeks or 1 month, or sometimes 3 months after the coaching engagement, because this is when we should give time to the coachee to apply what they have learned from the coaching program in the real world, in their work environment or their life. So the level 3 is measured after at least 3 weeks from the coaching engagement. For the level 4, also it's measured whether in the same time like level 3 or even after, sometimes 6 months after the coaching engagement, because this is when we see the changes in the business measurement in the organization or in the individuals, because the improvement on business measure is the result of the coachee actions, changes in actions. And sometimes it depends on the type of coaching, whether it's a life coaching, business coaching, and even the business coaching, it depends what kind of coaching program. For example, in the sales coaching, there is a difference between the BTC, the B2C coaching, or the B2B coaching. Because in B2B, the sales cycle, sometimes the duration is 3 months or 6 months, sometimes 1 year. So you will not see a changes in sales, okay, only after a certain period of time. So this is the timing criteria that we need to identify in the early stage of the planning for the evaluation. And then we have the responsibility. Okay, it's not clear here in the screen, but this is the last column here. This is the responsibility. Who is responsible for this measurement? So usually in level 1, 2, this is the coach responsibility. Level 3, sometimes it's the coach, sometimes it's the supervisor of the coachee, sometimes it's someone in learning and development in the organization or in the HR. For the level 4, same, sometimes responsibility of the coordinator, or it could be also the coach. But this planning, data collection, it will help the coach to get the buy-in from different stakeholders, and also to have like clear roadmap of the coaching program. So we know for each level of evaluation what we are going to measure, how we are going to measure it, whom we are going to ask, when we are going to ask, and who will does the asking. So this is the main question in the form number 1, which is the data collection plan. The second form is the ROI analysis plan. And this form is specifically for the level 4 measurement, which is the business impact measurement. So level 4, when we have the hard data and the soft data, so we identify the method for isolating the effect of the coaching, then the method of converting data to money, and then the different category of the cost, the intangible benefit, the communication target or different stakeholders that we are going to communicate the results of the coaching program, and then the other influence. Okay. Sometimes there are other influence in the organization, like for example, incentive plan, marketing, promotion, other initiative that will have to change the same measure. So we need to identify all these other influences. And then we have the comment, and this document, this is a planning document. We do it in the beginning, and we're gonna see later different technique, for example, for isolating the effect of the coaching, and also different technique for converting data to money, because I know this is the most asked question in the measurement and of the ROI of coaching. Okay, step number 3 is to collect data during the coaching implementation. So let me remind you, the first step was developing objective. Step number 2 was planning the evaluation. Step number 3 is collecting data during the coaching. This is for measuring the reaction, for measuring the learning. All right, so these are the different level of evaluation. Also, I'd like here to mention the level 0, okay? And this is very important because many organizations, they report it. For example, how many participants we coached, how many hours of coaching, what is the cost of coaching. So this is level 0, we call level 0. This is for input and for indicator. Okay, these are the activity that involved in the coaching program. Then we have level 1, we have seen it, the reaction level, we have the learning level, we have the application level, we have the business impact level, and we have the ROI level. And for some data that are not converted to money, usually the soft data, we call them the intangible benefit, the intangible benefit. So we need to report them. So these are the 5 level of evaluation, plus we have the level 0. So we can say this is a 6 type of data. All right, for measuring the result, okay, during the coaching program, we're gonna focus on level 0, level 1, and level 2, which is about the input indicators, about reaction, and also about the learning. So for the reaction, the 5 most used measurement are the relevance of the coaching program, the importance of coaching program. Is the coaching program important to the coachee? Is it value added to the coachee? And also, what is the rating of the coach, the effectiveness of the coach? And we have also the recommendation of the coaching program to others, to other coachees. So this is for the first category, which is reaction. For the learning, we measure the skills, the knowledge, the attitude, the competency, and the capacity. So this is the 2 categories that we measure during the coaching implementation. And how we are going to measure it? Okay, These are the different tools for measuring the reaction and also for measuring the learning. So for the reaction, we can use questionnaire, we can use observations, we can use interviews, we can use also focus group. So these are the four most used tools for measuring the reaction of the participant. However, for measuring the learning, we have other techniques. Okay, so in total we have 7 methods. We have the questioning, like the reaction, plus we have the tests and quizzes, we have the demonstration, and we have the simulation. So these are the most common technique for collecting data, level 1 and level 2. For step 1 to plan the evaluation. Step number 3 is collecting the data during the implementation, the coaching implementation. And we collect the data after the coaching implementation. And here we have 2 main categories. And an application, a typical measure, like for example, the extent of use of the skills, the new skills, the task completion, the frequency of use, we have the action completed, and also the barrier and enablers. So we should identify barrier for application, because there's no challenge that is willing to change, but they don't really change because there are some barriers. So we need to identify those barriers. And also, on the other hand, we need to identify the enablers that help the participant to apply what they learned or what they know. So these are the most common measure for measuring the application. The fourth category is about the impact, and here we have the hard data, the most common for hard data, like the output, the time saving, the cost reduction, the quality, and also we can use also soft data, like for example customer satisfaction or customer engagement, employees engagement. So these are the most common measurement for the impact. And how we measure the application and the impact, these are different technique. So for measuring the application, we use the first 4 questionnaire, the observation, the interviews, the focus group, and also we use the action planning and the performance contract. Does anyone know the difference between action plan and performance contract? I would like to engage you a little bit, so I'm feeling like I'm talking to myself. Okay, you can write in the chat box the difference between action plan and performance contract. All right, it seems no answer. Action plan, Abdurrahman. Excellent, Abdurrahman. You deserve a prize, Abdurrahman. So at the end of the session, you will get the prize. Okay, action plan is sort of task to do. Yes, yes, it's a task to do, right. So let me explain to you. They are almost the same, but the difference is that the performance contract is an action plan where there is an agreement, okay, between the coachee and the managers, okay, where they sign. Yes, performance contract is much better commitment. Yes, absolutely, right, Abdurrahman. So it's a commitment because Usually the coachee, they sign in this document, and there is a commitment between both parties. So thank you, Abdurrahman. And this is the tools, the six most used technique for measuring the application. And for measuring the impact, we have other techniques. So we have the questionnaire, same, and also we have the action planning, the performance contract, and also the performance record. And what does it mean, performance record? This is the information related to the result of the organization that is available in the company. For example, if you find it in any university or school, the number of graduated students. So this is performance record. And for example, in sales, you find, for example, number of sales per product, per item, per day. So this is available information. This is related to the performance of the organization. For example, you can know the attendance of the employees. So this is also data from the performance record. So these are the different technique for measuring level 3 and also for measuring the level 4. Step number 5 is about isolating the effect of the coaching program. And this is a very important step. So let me remind you, step number 1 is about developing the objective. Step number 2 was about planning the evaluation of the coaching. Step number 3, collecting the data during the coaching program. Step number 4, collecting the data after the coaching program. And step number 5 is about isolating the effect of the coaching program. And isolation is very important. Why? As you can see here, this is the total improvement. And in the total improvement of any measure, for example, if we have an increase, for example, in the performance, or for example, cost reduction, or for example, I'm going through a diet and I lost, for example, 5 kilos. So this is the total improvement. What is the role, or what is the allocation of the coaching program in this improvement? So it's not 100% because of the coaching program, but it's just a part of it. And we'd like to know, okay, the percentage of this part, whether is it 30%, 20%, 50%, 90%, sometimes it's 100%. So identifying the different measures, okay, is very important because other factors are always present in the organization. Also, they have their protective owners. For example, if you are going to present a report for the senior management, okay, for example, in this case, the marketing manager gonna say, okay, because of my promotion campaign. The IT manager gonna come because the new technology we have implemented. The HR, for example, gonna say because, okay, we increased, for example, the attention to the employees. We have a new incentive plan and different initiatives. So there are different factors that we need to identify in the organization that are helping to improve the same measure. And without isolation, we don't have proof that because of our coaching program, we contributed to the bottom line result of the organization. So how can we do the isolation? There are 8 techniques for isolating the effect of the coaching. And the first one is called the control group analysis. The second one is called the trend line analysis. The third one called the forecasting, using the forecast. Then we have also the participant estimate or the coachee estimate. Then we have also sometimes we use the customer input or the expert estimate, previous study, and also the management estimate or supervisor estimate. And sometimes we do other technique, which is the calculating or estimating the impact of other factors. Okay, so we can deduct 100% minus the other factors so we can know the contribution of our coaching program. So these are the most common use technique for isolating the effect of the coaching, and we're going to explain just the most 3 used technique, which are the control group technique, the trend line analysis, and the using of estimate. So let's see here the control group technique. We have, in this program, we have experimental group and we have the control group. Experimental group, this is the coached group, the group that went through the coaching program. The control group is the other group that they didn't went through a coaching program. For example, this is their sales, okay, the performance in sales in month 1. For example, let's assuming this is month of January, we have 35,000, let's say, per month, all right? And after going through coaching program, the first group increased the sales to 45%. However, the second group, the sales increased to 40%. So the question now, what is the impact of the coaching program? So you can do the calculation and share the answer in the chat box. We'd like to know what is the impact, the contribution of the coaching program. It's 5,000. All right. So why 5,000? Because we have here the coaching program. You see, the difference is 10,000, and for the uncoached, the difference is 5,000. 10,000 minus 5 equal 5,000. All right. This is the first technique. The second technique is called the trend line analysis. For example, here we have a program, coaching program that aim to, to reduce the fraud incident rate. The program has been conducted in the month of July. Okay, it's called Fraud Prevention, program. And this is the result 6 months before the coaching program. As you can see, so let's say the average was higher, and then the pre-program 6-month average was 18.5%, and there is a decreasing trend. So assuming now we didn't implement our coaching program. So 6 months after, let's say the coaching program, after the month of July, okay, the average data should be 14.5. This is based on the trend, because it's decreasing or increasing trend or whatever. This is the actual result, okay? This is based on the fact after the coaching program, the fraud rate has decreased, and the average, okay, 6 months after the coaching program is 7%. So what is the contribution of our coaching program in this case? All right, so it's 14.5 minus 7%, 7.5%. This is the contribution of our coaching program. So this is the second technique, okay, for isolating the effect of the coaching. So we cannot use the control group analysis in any coaching project. Okay, even we cannot use the trend line analysis in any coaching project. There should be some criteria. For example, if we have, let's say, a season fluctuation of the sales, we cannot apply the trend line analysis in this program, because there is some fluctuation in the data, okay, before the coaching program. So based on the, let's say, type of program that we are going to implement, the coaching program, we can choose the most appropriate technique for, isolating the effect of the coaching. And the third technique is called the using of estimate, the participant estimate or the coachee estimate. So it's based on simple formula. So there are the factors that influence the improvement, multiplied by the percentage of improvement, multiplied by confidence expressed, equal adjust percentage of improvement. So let's see here an example where the total improvement is a cost reduction by $10,000. And this is the different, let's say, influence. So the first one is our coaching program. And also we have change in procedures, adjustment in standards, revision to incentive plan, increased management attention. So this is the different influence. This is different factors. For the percentage of improvement, as we can see here, we ask the participant to divide 100% in each of these factors. And they have identified that the coaching has a, let's say, contribution of just 50%. So we multiply this amount, 50%, by the confidence. We ask the coachee to give their confidence and their estimation. This is the estimation. So the confidence, for example, for the first estimation, 70%, for the second one, 80%, and so on. So what we do, we multiply 50% by 70% equal 35%. So we don't say that 50% of the $10,000 is due to coaching. So we adjust for the error of estimate. And this is one of the most used technique for estimating, the contribution of the coaching program when we do the isolation. So in this case, what is the contribution of the coaching program? We multiply 10,000 by 35% equals $3,500. This is the contribution of our coaching program. The step number 6 now is converting data to money. Let me remind you, first we developed the objective, then we planned for the evaluation. 3, we collected the data during the coaching. 4, we collected the data after the coaching. 5, we isolate the effect of the coaching. 6, we're gonna convert data to monetary value. And for converting data to money, there are, let's say, 4 main categories or 4 main techniques. The first one called the standard value technique. The second one called, the report analysis. Then we have the database, and also we have the expert estimation. So these are the most used technique for converting data to money. And then tabulating the cost of the program. For tabulating the cost, there are 2 types of costs. There are the direct costs and the indirect cost. For direct costs, like for example, the coaching fees, coaching program fees, the program material, the facilities, the travel. So this is direct cost of the coaching. And also there are some indirect costs, like for example, the need assessment for the coaching program, the program development, the participant time, the coachee, for example, the coachee should be present for coaching during, let's say, 3 days, or for example, 30 hours or 15 hours. So the amount of time they are spending in the coaching program, this is an indirect cost that we need to calculate. So we need to be very conservative in our calculation. We exaggerate the cost and we put all the different type of costs, okay? So in order to be very credible with the finance department or with the sponsor or the funders of the coaching project, because we don't want to be asked about the credibility of the data. So we need to put all the cost in order to assure, validity and credibility of the report. Also, we have the evaluation cost and all the indirect costs that we could put into the total cost of the coaching program. And then step number 8 is to calculate the ROI. And the formula of calculating the ROI is very, very simple. So as you can see, the formula is the benefit of the coaching minus the cost divided by the cost multiplied by 100%. So this is the formula for the coaching program. Let's see here an example. We have the cost of the coaching 60,000 real. The program benefit is 100,000 real. So what is the ROI? You can write in the chat box. So we have cost 60,000 and the program 100,000 real. If you forget the formula, this is it. So the benefit minus the cost divided by the cost multiplied by 100. Any answer? Abdulrahman said 40%. The benefit minus the cost divided by the cost multiplied by 100. Let's see here. So it's 67%. So we have 100,000 minus 60,000 divide by 60,000, multiply it by 100. Okay, so this is 67%. This is the ROI of this coaching program. And as you can see, as guiding standards for the ROI measurement in coaching and any learning and development, project, we measured only the benefit for 1 year, only 1 year. We know that sometimes the benefit maybe lasts for more than 1 year, because when you coach someone, the result could be for 2, 3, 5, even 10 years. But we should be very conservative. Yes, absolutely. Shetwi, you are right. It's 66 points. You are very accurate, and you are exact. Okay, excellent. So then, step number 9 is to identify the intangibles. So it's very important to identify, because many programs are conducted because of the intangibles. We would like to have, let's say, innovative organization. We'd like to improve to be the best place to work. So because of that, we went through coaching program because of this intangible. We'd like to have a better teamwork. We'd like to have happy team, happy employees, So that's why we go for a coaching program. We implement a coaching program. So we need to identify those intangibles, because the stakeholders, they want to see them. The value is not only monetary value, also non-monetary value. So there should be balance between the money and the non-monetary value that we call the intangible. Then we have the step number 10, which is communicate the result or tell the story. Okay, so this is when we should tell the story of our coaching program to the different stakeholders. This is a very important step, because if the step is not done properly, if the presentation is not done properly, all the effort, okay, that you have done through the last 9 steps could be wasted. So we need to make sure that we done this step very properly, okay, and to present our report to the different stakeholders. So to whom we are going to present our report. There are 4 primary audience. The first audience is the sponsor, the person who decide to invest in the coaching program. The immediate manager, okay, of the employees, and also the participant or the coachee themselves, and the staff team and the organization others. So these are the 4 primary audiences that we need to communicate the result of the coaching program. And how we are going to communicate? Through face-to-face meeting, presentation. So we don't send the report through email. We need to present it by ourselves. Second one, to complete, we have a complete study, so it should be documented, okay, in the file. Executive summary, this is a 2-page, for executive, for sponsor, because they don't want to go through all the report to see the evaluation for level 1, level 2, and so on. They just need to know specific information. And also we have the 1-page summary. This is usually done infographic and sent, for example, to all the staff of organization about the impact of the coaching program. So this is how we tell the story about our, program. The objective is to get more funding. So why we tell the story? Because we need to convince the stakeholders and the sponsor that our program brought value to the organization, we contribute to the bottom line result of the company. All right, coach, so let me remind you about the 10 steps. So I know that. What is the first step? Before just showing to you, I'd like to know the first step. Can you just tell me the first step we have seen? Just the first step. Excellent, Khulud. Bravo, Khulud. Is developing objective. Set the objective. Excellent, Abdurrahman. The second step is to develop evaluation plan. The third one is to collect data during the solution or during the coaching. Then collect the data after coaching implementation. Step number 4. Step number 5 is to isolate the effect of the coaching. What is step number 6? I forget. Can someone tell me step number 6 after isolating the effect of the coaching? Excellent, Khulud. Excellent. It's about converting data to money. Then tabulate the cost of the program. So once we have the data converted and we have the cost, so the next step is to calculate the ROI and then to identify the intangibles and to communicate the result, generate the impact, and tell the story. So these are the 10 easy steps for measuring the ROI of coaching. All right, so I have a few questions to test your knowledge. The first question is, you will tell me true or false. The ROI methodology generates just one data. Okay, it's expressed in percentage. True or false? Abdurrahman, false. Khulud, false. Excellent. Great coaches. It's false. Okay, second question. Coaching program with monetary cost with monetary benefit of 200,000 and cost 100,000 translate into an ROI 200%. Is it true or false? Well, no, it's false, right? Okay, other question? Abdurrahman, right, false. Should be false, right? The ROI methodology, okay, is a tool to improve the coaching process and project. True or false? It improves, the coaching process. So let me remind you. You remember once we did the V model? What we did? Okay, we aligned the coaching program, okay, to the business measure. And unfortunately, this what was missed in the case of Scotland Yard, okay, when they implemented the leadership program in UK, because their coaching program was not aligned, okay, to the result, the business result, which are the crime rate and the solved crime. So the ROI methodology is not only for measuring the impact and for evaluating, but also it helps, to improve the effectiveness of the coaching and the coaching process and project. That's why it's true. Next question. After reviewing a detailed ROI in a study, senior executive will usually require ROI study in all coaching programs. This is a tricky question. It's not easy because we haven't seen it in this webinar, but it's depends. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's false because we cannot do coaching, evaluating the ROI of coaching in all coaching initiatives because there are some criteria, okay, for measuring the ROI in certain coaching program, like for example, the cost, like the time of the project, like the number of participants. So these are the different criteria that based on this criteria, we can decide to measure, to evaluate the coaching program in level 4 and level 5. Okay, other question. There are 10 levels of coaching, evaluation. True or false? 10 level, not 10 steps. False. Yes, it's false. There are 5 levels. Excellent, well. Excellent, Abdurrahman. Excellent, Chitri. Okay. Question number 6. While it may be a rough estimate, it's always possible to isolate the effect of the program on unpacked data. Is it possible to estimate, to isolate the effect of the coaching? Yes. Yes, well. Good. A program costing $100 per participant, okay, designed to teach basic skills, is an ideal program for an ROI study. This is, let's say, 100 real. That's us saying program costing 100 real or $100. Is it typical a program to measure the coaching? Or let's say in Egypt, it costs, for example, £100. So it's not expensive. Usually, this program is not expensive, so there is no need to measure the ROI, okay? But if it was an expensive program, that there is an assessment, there is a lot of coaching, I mean, it's a very, very expensive program, so in this case, we need to justify the spending. The ROI methodology contains two complicated formula, true or false. Chetri. You are right, Chetri, Khulud. Yes, it's false. It's easy. It's the benefit minus the cost divided by the cost multiplied by 100. Then, developing coaching objective, okay, is a step of the ROI methodology, true or false? Who said false? Said false. Should we? This is, I mean, I don't know if you are talking about the previous question or this question. Of course, it's true. It's true because developing objective is the step number one. All right. So other question, ROI is not future oriented. It's only reflect past performance. True or false? Yes, Khulud, it's false. Why it's false? Because as you saw in the step number 2, it's a planning evaluation. So we plan for it. It's like planning for future. It's not only about the past. We start the evaluation in the early stage, even before conducting the coaching program. The best time, to consider an ROI evaluation is 3 months after the program is completed. False. Yes, of course. All right. The last question, if senior executives are not asking for ROI, there is no need to pursue the ROI methodology. True or false? If they are not asking. It's different. It's different. It's false. It's false. Okay, because even if they are not asking now, okay, they may be asking in future. Like what happened, as I told you, in the Scotland Yard case in the leadership development program. In the beginning, these stakeholders were not asking about the ROI, we're asking just, to improve the knowledge and leadership skills of the police officer. And then after seeing this lot of money invested in this program, so they were asking about what is the value. And so this program, Scotland Yard, was considered to be a waste of money. And this amount dedicated, £10 million to training, could be attributed to, for example, purchasing 1,000 police car officers for 2 years, or also recruiting 400 police officers. So that's why it was considered to be a waste of money. So even though they are not asking now, but they could ask in the future. So we need to be ready, and that's why we need to be differentiate ourselves as a coach, that we might be asking in the future about the value of our investment, of our project. So we need to be ready to defend it. All right, guys. So every story has an end, but in life, every ending just a new beginning. Thank you very much for staying with us. So we have now 8 prize, and I have a prize for you. This is a case study for ROI in coaching. So you can download it from this link, go.gl, Okay, and just consider there is some letter in capital and one minuscule. So you can take this link and download a free case study for ROI in coaching applied in national hotel company in US. So the name of the hotel is disguised by, but this is a very comprehensive, case study with a lot of details. Thank you very much, Abdurrahman. Thank you, Khulud. Thank you, Shitwi. Thank you, Wa'el, Muhammad, Shahadat. Thank you, iPhone. I know the name disguised here. All right. Thank you, everyone, for attending. And I would like, if you have any question, please feel free to ask me. Thank you. Coach Ahmed.
Thank you a lot, Coach-Nader, for your nice presentation, and it was really insightful webinar. We are learning a lot, and it was very structured, processed. You took us through a great journey to learn how to measure the ROI. So I'm grateful for you, and thank you so much on behalf of Legacy Coaching Institute. And guys, if you have any questions, please, you can write it in chat right now. Time is very limited, so any questions here for Nader?
Okay. Should we ask the question? All right, so let's start with a Shitwi question. Do you agree that the measurement and evaluation part look a lot like the balanced scorecard way? Yes, of course, because the ROI methodology provide, scorecard, data about different evaluation level, like the level 0, level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5. Yes, it's quite similar. Thank you. Okay, well, this is Wa'el. It was great. Thank you, Wa'el. Any other question? Dr. Ahmed, do you have a question?
Okay, thank you, Shitewi, for asking this question. Definitely every week we're going to have a webinar on the Legacy webinar series. And of course, this will not be the last webinar with Nader. We will bring him many times, inshallah, not only just in webinars, but even in training programs for future in the Middle East. So thank you for your interest in our programs. Thank you.
Thanks, Abdurrahman. Thanks for your participation. See you. Have a nice evening, you too. All right, so I think no more question. Okay, Coach.
Okay, thank you so much, Nader. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks, Doctor.
Thanks, guys. All the best. Have a nice evening.